Our first Chaos card is gonna be Bewitching Spirit. Bewitching Spirit is a unit from the Shadow Isles Spirit for 3 energy and 2 might, which reads, when you play me, choose an opponent. They discard 1 card. Now, you don't get to look at the opponent's card, but it is one of those interesting cards where it goes, I get played and I will trade with an opponent's card. And potentially, if I trade with a unit through combat or something, I get 2 for 1. So 2 for 1 effects, to me, are always very tantalizing, very exciting. Now, if only you got to look at their hand and then they discard 1, the card would be even better. Because you don't get to look and it just forces a discard, it's like, fine. And if a fine card's fine, it gets 3 stars. I want this to be a lot better, and if you're really able to push it, you could go even further. It now does rightly point out and say you could choose yourself, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of situations where you'd want to do that. Till we get to hardcore reanimated decks where you want to discard and do other cool fun, but realistically, you're going to choose your opponent. Now, if you can look to flicker effects and like return it back to your hand, then replay it again, it could be a real thing. Now, we are getting in control territory, but this is where a card I really think, realistically, this is more of a tempo card. But if a control deck can start really abusing this, could be scary. Witching Spirit's a real card. I like where it's at. We'll just have to remain to be seen if it's, like, really, really powerful, or if it's just fine. Crescent Guardian is a unit from Mount Targon for 4 and 4 might. If you've played a spell this turn, you may play Power as an additional cost to play me. If you do, I enter ready. So, a card where we have to jump through hoops in Constructed. What do we think of that one? It's a 1. We're doing this just to have it enter ready, which means it's not a super exciting card. We also have to pay for it. It's not like we're getting it for free. We have to work for this effect, meaning we've got to pay energy to play another card to then get this effect. Now, don't get me wrong, the best spot is to go stack deck into this. Sure, I still have to play a power, and I don't like the fact that I have to play power for this. As such, I can't really, in good conscience, give this anything higher than a 1 star. So, that's where it stands. Evershade Stalker is a unit from the Shadow Isles, which is a 3 energy for a 3 might unit, which reads, when you play me, discard 1, then draw 1. So this does have the opportunity to cycle. This does have the opportunity to at least loot a little bit and potentially find the right thing. I just don't realistically think this effect is like powerful enough. Thankfully, the body it's on is like not terrible, and it's early enough where you can very much help try and find the right cards that you're looking for, especially if you have an ability to very much interact with your discard. Though in decks where you don't have that ability, this isn't going to be a card you're going to play. So it's either a card you want to play because you're going to benefit from it, or you're just never going to play it. Also, with the recent bans and now Scrap Heap gone, this card looks a lot worse in general. As such, I'm going to only give it a 1 star. If there isn't an engine or a really payoff card for doing this sort of thing, the Stalker is kind of terrible, especially at face value. It could be worse, sure. It also could be a lot better. So, as such, it gets a 1. Isolate is a spell for 2 energy, which reads, move an enemy unit from a battlefield to its base. Then, if there is an enemy unit alone there at a battlefield, draw 1. So, Isolate, assuming you're able to, allows you to either completely push off somebody to then conquer yourself, or to potentially make it more advantageous for you to now not only kill a unit, it now will potentially even cycle itself. Now, it does assume that you have to get it down to exactly 1, and this is very interesting because this is very much a Kha'Zix card in a sense. I don't mind this card. I don't necessarily love it either. It is nice to be able to at least control and have movement effects over your opponent, especially with Fight or Flight now being gone. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily sure if this is a card that breaks the format. As such, I'm going to just give it a 2. The main thing that really pushes this card off from being 3 or more is not being action or reaction. It very much has to be played on your turn, and in cards with that sort of spell speed tend to be either very polarizing. They're either very, very powerful cards, or fine. They're fine. So it's fine. It's a 2 out of 5. Lunar Boom is a purple spell, which is for 3 energy. At reaction speed, discard 1, then draw 2. So this cycles itself, it gets rid of a random card and draws 2. So you're at card parity as when you played this. Card's good. Card's objectively a good card. It will not warp the format around it, and well, it could. I hope it doesn't, but it could. The fact is, now that we only have Stacked Deck and also Lunar Boon, realistically is the premier draw cards, because Cool Shot is now no more, Lunar Boon does become a lot better. Scrap Heap going, though, does make this feel a little bit worse, so I'm not like, oh my god, this card is going to see play everywhere. This card's solid. This card's very solid. In the right decks, this card will benefit them. In other decks, this card is fine. Perfectly fine. Now, if you can play this for free with a Fizz, card's fun. Card's good. Is it realistically going to change how every other purple deck plays? Nope. Costs 3 to get there, so it's just not going to do that. As such, I'm going to give it a 3. Mega Tusk is a 6/6 might unit, which is a unit from Bilgewater, which has spend 3 XP, give your units here ganking this turn. So obviously, you play Mega Tusk to a battlefield where you're already controlling it, you spend the 3 XP, and now all your units can smash across and hopefully conquer that other battlefield. And you're pretty good. It does rely that you're having to hold, realistically, to get this sort of effect. So this is also a card where if you want to think that you're going to be able to do anything else with it, because you have to hold, you have to then play this, you're spending 6, and then you can't have anything to follow up. Or if you're going to, you have to have a bunch of might there to get it. It's a 1. It's a cool card. It could only be realistically played in Khazigs, and I don't think at this moment in time, this is a card that Khazigs realistically wants to play. It might be a fun tech of one-of, but outside of a techie one-of card, it's not going to see play. And normally tech cards, if you're playing a one-of, they're either really good in very good circumstances, or it's just kind of whatever. I think this is kind of a whatever card. Our next card is Mr. Root. Mr. Root is a unit from Ionia and a Fae. It is 2 for a 1 might unit, which has Accelerate, but also, when I move to a battlefield, gain 2 XP. So this is one of the very solid cards for when you're playing Khazigs. It allows you to gain XP, and then potentially pull him back. It's also important that it is a move effect, so it doesn't necessarily have to be kept. And with Khazig's legend ability allowing you to immediately pull him back, which we'll get into later, the idea that this will be an exhausted unit that you can then pull back from the battlefield, go in again, it very much seems like you'll have the opportunity to go in, out, and kind of like play this very unique play style. Do I think this is something you'll want to play a lot or even do more than once? Probably not. Realistically, you want this to come down, probably get onto a battlefield. If you can pull it back once, oh my god, fantastic, you're getting 4 XP. That's going to be above rate. You want to do it more than that? Probably not. So that's kind of where I'm at with Mr. Root. As such, it's 3. Perfectly fine. Does exactly what you need him to do. It's honestly above rate with XP for a 2 might unit. But if you can get 4 XP, you're cooking. Realistically, you're gonna get 2. Star-Crossed is a spell, which is 3 power and 3 energy, 1 power for a reaction spell, which also reads return a friendly unit and an enemy unit to their owner's hand. This is one of my favorite cards in this whole set. I'm not lying to you. This card has so many use cases in Diana, but also other purple decks. The fact it has utility. It is the card that you're able to really, like, replay things like Fizz for free. You can also potentially really go off with Academy. There is so many, like, random tiny little things that Starcross just goes above and beyond. This card is phenomenal in so many ways. It's fantastic. It's reaction speed. You can play this at the end of your opponent's turn if they end up doing stuff and they have triggers, and then suddenly you bounce back something that they've just played, and then you return your Fizz back to your hand, and then you play the Fizz again, and you bounce the Fizz you've just played back to your hand, and you get to play Starcross and then bounce something else back, and your opponent is suddenly so far behind on tempo, and you have full board presence. Starcross is just crazy, and I love it. This card is going to potentially define the full format going into Unleashed, and now with the bans of other purple cards, this is going to be one of the most premier spells in purple. I guarantee. I have my guarantee on that. And if it's not, I haven't worked hard enough to make that happen. So, Starcross is a 5-star card. Our next card is Vicious Snapjaws. Vicious Snapjaws is a unit from Bilgewater and is a 5/5 might card, which reads, when another friendly unit dies, gain 1 XP. I have to wait for my other things to die to gain XP. It's an on-rate card, but I have to wait. I have to force my things to die to do it. It's just not that good. You're working, you want your stuff to die, and then you get benefits. Why am I playing a card which wants that when I could just play cards which either gain me experience like Mr. Root and I don't have to go through hoops and I can play a good card, or I have to spend 5 energy and it doesn't do anything immediately, and then I have to wait for my things. No, card's bad. Don't worry about it. Yeah. The only reason it doesn't get 0 stars is because at least it is an on-rate card that is 5/5, and it doesn't hurt you. It's not an actively, like, bad card. It doesn't, like, necessarily lose you anything. It just doesn't do anything. Don't play this. By the way, it's fine and limited. Fine and limited. Walking Roots is a unit from the Shadow Isles. For 5 energy, for 6 might. That's above rate. Which also reads Deflect. Okay. And then, when you play me, choose an opponent. They play a 1 might bird unit token with Deflect. It's a multiplayer card. It's a multiplayer card. That's all it is. It's a multiplayer card. There's nothing wrong with this. You can choose the opponent. This is not good for one-on-one. It is above rate, but I haven't figured out the spot where I would happily give my opponent a bird. But this is probably something fine to play in multiplayer where you can play this on curve, get a benefit, and give someone that's struggling to do much of anything a random 1 might bird unit, and they're going to just be like, cool, I got something. It's 1, but it's cool. I like it. It's fine. I don't think anybody should hate me for that take. Abandon. I like that it has Elise spiders on this. I digress. Abandon is a reaction, is a spell for 2 energy, which has reaction. It reads, counter a spell. Return it to its owner's hand instead of putting it in their trash. And has predict. Now, let's just remember, predict is about 0.5 of a card. It's not a full draw, but it's kind of good. What this is also is immediately compared to is a card from Magic the Gathering called Remand. Now, when Remand is really good, it means tempo deck, so purple tempo decks are like kind of overthrowing the whole format. Now, it doesn't quite work the same way because we can't counter units in this game. Abandon is, in theory, a 4-star card. Now, is it going to be absolutely busted and really define the meta? No. Is it going to be really good in the right decks? Yes. Absolutely. The idea of just pushing an opponent off for a turn because they just Like, you get the hard counter and it's back in their hand, and if they don't have the energy to play it again, it's going to screw them. The other thing is, what's great about it is if they paid a bunch of power for it, and now you just go, no, suddenly they now have to play that power again, which might be a full turn cycle if you caught them out at the correct spot. Thing is, it does depend. Abandon as an explicit card, just as we're looking at it here, is a 4-star card. It's now going to depend if the metagame absolutely works for it. The past the purple metagame, yeah, Abandon was going to be good in that. Now, it's a little bit to be seen, but if, hey, in a few sets time, this card could be absolutely all over the place, and people are screaming for it to be banned. Just have to wait and see. But for me, Abandon, solid card. Love it. Angular Beast is a unit from Bilgewater for 5 cost and 1 rune, and for 5 energy. When you play me, return all units with 2 power or less to their owner's hand. So this is like the anti-aggro mid-range like control card. It's a weird one. It's one of those cards I look at and go, is this maybe really, really good? Or is it just okay? Part of me thinks that this is probably just okay to whatever. And the reason I say that is because, if I'm being honest with myself, how many 2-might units do you want to push back to your opponent's hand? Or less? Not many. So this is only realistically good if you're on the draw by default, and then you play this on turn 2. And then you put this down, and then you hopefully push back 1, maybe at best 2 units. The fact is, it's not 3-might. If this got 3-might units, card would be really solid. Problem is, only 2-might or lower, it's just not a break point where it really matters a lot of the time. As such, I can only give it 1 in good faith, because a lot of decks are going to be over this hump after turn 1. Realistically, they're going to be playing 3 to 4-might units after that factor and beyond. So I can't realistically give it any better than that. Blast Cone. Blast Cone is a gear. Blast Cone, named Blast Cone. Blast Cone. Blasting of the cones. We're going to see a lot of Blast Cone, by the way. It is a 4 energy and 1 power. Which also reads, when you play this, you may move an enemy unit. So, movement. Then we come into this and go, when you move an enemy unit, you may exhaust this to stun it. So this is Vex's engine, and I'm slightly terrified of this card. If this card looks to be good... Oh, wait though. Weren't certain things banned? Didn't we have to worry? Yeah, no, with Fight or Flight's banned, this card becomes about a 3. This card is still very, very solid, and the idea of having more than 1 Blast Cone down at the time is, like, good. Actively good. The problem is, with Fight or Flight now no longer being in the format, there is less movement in purple. It's not gone, but it's less good. It's less good, so I don't mind. This card's fine. It's gonna potentially be a very good card in Vex. Beyond that, it's probably not gonna do a lot more. Simply fact is, when you move an enemy unit, if I don't have Fight or Flight, I can't now move an enemy unit I don't want to have to deal with. Tap, exhaust, stun this, and to now stun it or whatever, and then I get power on Vex and I can do other things. I just feel like this is going to be one of those cards where it's really good with charm and other effects, but other things it's like less good. I'm not sure, man. I think Blast Cone's going to be solid. Beyond that, I'm less of a fan of it. So I'll give it a 3. Existential Dread should have been a yellow card or a green card. Why is this not fully Anyway. Existential Dread is a spell for 1 and 1 power, which reads action and repeat for 2, and stun an attacking enemy unit. If it's already stunned, return it to its owner's hand instead. So, this is the best stun card in the game. Do I need to say more? Do I need to say more? This is the best stun card in the game. It either just stuns or I can pay, in fairness, 3 and 1 power to now push a card back to its opponent's hand. It is doing what Starcross does, but only one-sided. This is Rebuke, but insane. But also, if your opponent finds anything stunned through a myriad of ways in the Vex deck, this is just going to be a stupid card. This is doing everything anything would want to do, which is playing stun, and the fact that this isn't possibly played in Leona, I want to cry. Why? Oh my god. Oh my god. This card's insane. This card's just so insane. So insane. Costing 1 less power and only 1 energy more than Rebuke is truly an insane thing. Truly insane. Oh. Card's crazy. Card's genuinely crazy. Next card is Insightful Investigator. For 3 and 3 is a unit from Piltover for 3 energy and 3 might. When you play me, choose an opponent. They reveal their hand. So we just get that. You may pay 2 XP to choose a card from their hand. If you do, they discard that card and draw 1. So for 3 and 3, you're going to get to look at your opponent's hands. After that fact, you can then choose to pay 2 XP and then choose a card from their hand to get rid of it. Now, it doesn't discard it, which is like, they discard it, but the problem is they do get to draw another card. As such, I think it's fine, but I'm going to only give it 2. Reason being is plain and simple. They draw another card. They replace that card. And you don't have perfect information on that card. They just get to, you do the effect, and then they discard it. They go back. They draw a card. You have, for instance, you know the information of 4 cards, but you don't know the 5th. So, yeah. Good card, but very situationally very good. Could be interesting in a Pike deck, potentially, or like maybe a Kha'Zix deck, but beyond that, I'm not sure. And realistically, if you're playing Pike, you've got to find a way of having an engine for XP. So, yeah, probably not going to be great. Scryer's Bloom is a gear for 1 energy, which reads, this enters exhausted, and kill this, 1 energy, exhaust, predict 2, then draw 1 and gain 1 XP. So the problem with Scryer's Bloom is you have to spread this cost over 2 turns. Now it is only 1 energy, but the problem is it is 1 energy staggered through multiple turns, which means I struggle to see where this is going to be really good. Now, it does cycle itself, thankfully, and the Predict 2 is actually very good. That's basically almost 1 card in and of itself, plus the card that you drew, which is literally replacing Scryer's Bloom. And then gaining 1 XP in Kha'Zix, realistically, which is where you'll play this. Very strong. Very, very strong. But is this really what they want to be doing? Or is this more of a card that potentially will be a lot better in the future? So, I'm gonna give it a 3-star. 3-star because it is cycling itself and the Predict is very nice and the 1 XP. It does a lot, it's just a little slow, but I do imagine we will have a card in the future, because we had it in Magic and we'll probably have it in Riftbound one day. And I'm saying this might be a thing we have 5 years down the line, ladies and gentlemen, which will say, gear enter in ready. Like, all gear enter in ready. So, it could be good there. My chat, Razor, is just suggesting that this could be an Aurora card. And I know he's slightly trolling, but I also think, this could be good. Oh. Oh, no! Let's move on. I don't want to think about that. Sinister Poro. Let's look at the cute little boy and say, are you going to be able to tell him that he's not scary? Sinister Poro is a unit from the Shadow Isles, Poro, which is for 2 energy and 1 power for a 1 might unit. Which also reads, when I attack, I may pay 1 and move an enemy unit here to its base. So when we originally saw this card, I was like, ooh. This card would be pretty interesting in Draven. You get to just win more combats. I like this. But now with the bans and everything, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to play this card. This card is not very good. So I'm going to give it a 2. And the reason I'm not saying it's not very, very good, or even good even, is because I have to pay energy. It's only 1 might. And while I get to win the combat and draw a card, I still have to pay a rune. Kind of throws off my whole idea and game plan, because you want to play this early game, right? But you also don't want to play this early game. But you also want to gain ability. Maybe I was a bit too on the high copium that this is going to be busted in Draven. I was wrong with my first evaluation, and now I can look at it and go, cards like, okay, this is like the 7th 2-drop you play in your deck. You know what I mean? When some people go, okay, I'm going to play like 3 of this, and I'll play a Vi. This is now that kind of 3 of this, and I'll play a Sinister Poro. It's not the one you're wanting, but it's the one you'll take. And it's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's cute. I'm not going to tell him that, though. Are you? The list. Obviously, Chris Jericho reference. And if you know, you know. Anyway, is a gear for 1 energy, which also reads, as you play this, name a tag, which is also partly why, ladies and gentlemen, I've been naming tags throughout all of these. Why? Because this is one of the first cards that genuinely cares for tags outside of Ivan cards. Which reads, Misfortune, which is, for example, Misfortune, Demacia, Poro, all this other stuff. Which has Exhaust, give a unit with the named tag -2 might this turn. So this is a sideboard card. Yeah. I don't think this is gonna see much of any play until we hit tribal strategy. And then the list will be interesting. But, you know where this is worse? Or why I'm like not screaming about this to the hills? It's not action speed. Not reaction. Doesn't have the ability to do things at the speed we need to do things. You want to play this, you want to be able to do this and then have the effect on your opponent's turn, right? Like that's where you want it. You really want to be able to kind of force the fear of God because they're playing a tribal strategy. You have to do it on your turn. And it's only 1 unit. It's not all units with that tag. So... yeah. It's close. There's a design space here. I like this design space. But... it's like close. It's close to being like a interesting sideboard card. It's not there at the moment. It might see play as like a random sideboard card, but at this moment in time... nope. Bone Skewer. Bone Skewer is a spell for 2 and 1 power, which reads Hidden and choose a battlefield. An opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a unit from it. They play that unit to that battlefield, ignoring any and all costs, and when they do, stun it. So, Bone Skewer is a 5. It's gonna see play in Vex. I might play it in Diana. This card is nuts. This card is crazy. This card with the right build around absolutely savages people. Now, did the banning make this card a bit less good? Yes. It's just brought it down from being maybe the best card in the set to like a solid top 5. Like, I mean, like, let's be real. That's not too bad. This card is just crazy. The fact that it's got hidden, the fact that you could do this at any point, you get the opponent's card in hand information, potentially on their turn, completely ruining their whole game plan. You can rip something out. If you have any benefits from a stun thing, which as we've already seen, you could also just do so much else with it. You're going to probably get the kill of the thing, because obviously you're going to choose a battlefield where you have a unit. This is insane. This card does everything. And obviously you're going to play it when you have full control and ideally some information. So yeah, this is one of those cards where if you're already a little bit ahead, can throw you so far ahead that your opponent is now scrambling to try and catch up. So, it's a 5 out of 5. Card is sick. Conscription is a spell for 5 and 2 power. You may spend 5 XP as additional cost to play this. Choose an enemy unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less. If you paid an additional cost, choose any enemy unit and at a battlefield instead. Take control of it, exhaust it, and recall it. Now, if this was in orange, or if this was in green, this would be better. I haven't worked out the sequencing for how often you can do this, because you basically have to. But in reality, I'm going to be real. This card is like 5 for 2 to steal a 3 might. And if you have the XP, you can steal any enemy unit, but it has to be at a battlefield. What about if they've just played a big thing and you're like, oh, I want to steal that? You can't. They now have to put it to a battlefield. And if they don't put it to a battlefield, you can't steal it. And unless you're realistically taking like a 6, 7, 8 cost unit, and realistically it's that like 7, 8, or 6 plus unit cost, you're probably not getting value. So you're spending a lot. You're spending 5 XP and 2 power. This is so expensive. I just don't think you're ever gonna. It's just not gonna do it. It's just not gonna work. You just don't. Yeah. I want to like this card. It's just too expensive for it. Evelyn Entrancing is a champion unit Evelyn Demon for 2 and 2 might, which reads Hidden, which also reads Backline, and as well reads, when you play me from face down on your turn, you may move an enemy unit at a different location to my battlefield. So, I think Evelyn is a solid card. This is a very, very solid card. We know we're also going to be seeing an Evelyn champion unit in like 2 sets, or the legend rather in 2 sets, because of Radiance. So I think Evelyn is already hinting towards the idea of what they're going to be doing. They're going to be able to control the opponents, very much do movement effects. And I think this is one of those things where I look at it and go, interesting. I do have to have this card survive a full turn cycle hidden, but that can happen. So if I can find a way of being able to hide this amongst a bunch of other things, and then potentially even flicker this back to my hand in some capacity to then do it again, or at least enjoy the factor that it's not going to die immediately due to backline, card is offering a lot of stuff. It's not going to break the game open. It's not crazy, and there are going to be spots when you play this, you're just going to be playing it for a 2 might, 2 cost unit because you need to do something. Akin to a Tide Turner. But we've all seen how powerful Tide Turner can be. So I think Evelyn is going to be, is just the alternative version of Tide Turner. Tide Turner lets you move around your stuff. This lets you move around the opponent's stuff. Though it's not quite a 1-for-1, because obviously it does have to be at a battlefield. And realistically, it's not quite the same. So Yeah. 3 stars. It's a solid card. I want to see more. Heedless Resurrection is a spell for 2 and 1 power. You can play it at reaction speed. As an additional cost to play this, kill a friendly unit, and then reads, play a unit from your trash that costs no more energy or power than the killed unit, ignoring its cost. So, if you're able to kind of cheat something out that was very powerful, and then you can now Heedless Resurrection to either target the same unit, because that's how this works, the card will be resolve in order of effect, meaning you can kill a big unit and then replay it. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Well, you could. You could do that with an Elder Dragon. Yes! Yes, you heard me correct. You can get the play effect of Elder Dragon back down and then kill a bunch of things again. You can also look to play anything that has a very powerful effect like Baron Nashor, which we'll come to in a few cards from now. Heedless Resurrection is a very interesting card. At first glance, it very much looks like, oh, you killed something and then you get to play something else for it, which is like, yes, that's what it does. But it's not quite as simple as that. It technically is a flicker effect at reaction speed, which very much means you technically can have a unit, kill it, and then bring it back down. But will have to remain to be seen. I'm also getting information that maybe now, because of the rules change that happened 2 days ago, I am now incorrect about that. I don't know. I'm going to give it a 3-star on the idea that we can do it how I need it to do it. This could also be a combo card in the future, where you get to very much cheat out something, and then if it's going to die anyway, you can get around it. If you have any way of doing, like, big tokens that are identical full cost, and then you can kill it and then get something even bigger out or just as big out, there's cool opportunities. This also could be a very interesting card with Death Kneel cards when we get to yellow-purple in the next set, which in my opinion is probably where this card is very much going to shine and be an engine card, but we'll have to wait and see with it all. At the time being though, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Kha'Zix Mutating Horror is a champion unit, Kha'Zix the Void, for 4 and 1 power for a 4 might unit, which reads Ambush, and has, when I attack or defend, if an enemy unit is alone here, give me 2 might this turn and gain 2 XP. So this is the Kha'Zix I think you'll realistically want to play as your chosen champion. I might be wrong, but this is the kind of direction I personally would want to at least explore first. And because of the signature spell, which we'll show, as well as a bunch of effects where you can very much control and affect your opponent's locations of stuff and flicker things in and out, I think Kha'Zix Mutating Horror is a very, very strong card. Ambush as well works greatly with this sort of effect. As such, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really like this card. I think the fact that you'll be able to have him attacking or defending for more, along with all the combat tricks and everything else you can do, Kha'Zix is going to be one of those very surprising effects where you could gain a lot of experience very, very quickly. The other factor is, with the legend himself, Kha'Zix lets you go smash in, gain 2, pull him back. Smash in, gain 2, pull him back. And do this constant effect over and over again, which could be very difficult for an opponent because they now have to hold with 2 units. And even so, if you have any interaction for them, they might just kind of be screwed. So, I like the boy. Maldui, the Gatekeeper, is a 7 for 1 power 6 might unit from Bandle City, which reads, I can't be readied. Which also reads, for 1 power, move me to an occupied enemy battlefield if my might is greater than the total might of the enemy units there. I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. Card is actually a 0 cost. I'm sorry. No, don't play this card. Okay, this is I think the only purple card I'm probably going to give 0 to. This card is objectively terrible. You are spending so much. And when I mean so much, you are spending so much power for an effect that does kind of whatever. Like, you're basically praying that they've got to be 5 might units and your enemy is there, and then you're going to move it, and they know he's here. They just know. Oh my god, this card is terrible. Don't even play this in limited. Don't play this in your sealed deck. If you open this card, go, oh, maybe purple isn't good if you have this. Like, genuinely speaking, you need so much other stuff. You need, like, Bone Skew and Kha'Zix and some other cards upcoming to actually be like, oh, okay, my purple's pretty good. If you have this card is bad. Do not play this card. It is terrible. This is the worst purple card of Unleashed, and I will die on this hill. There are vanilla cards. I would absolutely play Vicious Snapvine, Walking Root, Angular Beats greatly over this card. This card is terrible. But 0. Our next card is Pike Returned. It's a champion unit, Pike Bilgewater, for 3 and 3 might. Solid. It has hidden, nice. Backline, nice. And reads once each turn. When an enemy unit dies while I'm at a battlefield, play a gold token exhausted. So, it is interesting. It is assuming that you can obviously get enemy units to die while I'm at that same battlefield. So obviously you want to reveal him from hidden. But otherwise, he's kind of, like, okay. I do think the other Pike is slightly better. But we're talking very, very slightly. And just to remind you, this is the other Pike, the Butcher, which has might and very much can flicker in and out and do all this other stuff. Now, I do think this Pike Returned, is like still solid. But it's while I'm at a battlefield, you are right. Thank you, Twitch chat, for salvage for that one, where no, they rightly pointed out he doesn't have to be at the same battlefield. That makes him a little bit better. I am still going to only give him 3 stars. It is a little bit of a weird one where it's like, okay, you're going to win on one battlefield, you reveal him before that combat triggers, and then you get another one. Well, that's kind of it. And it's only gold. You're only getting a gold. It's not like you're drawing a card, which is way more powerful than a gold. It's fine. It's fine. He's not guaranteeing, though, you winning that. He is simply benefiting you when an enemy unit dies. Now, it could be... Now, they could also die for a myriad of other reasons, and as long as he's at a battlefield, you get some gold. So he is a bit of an engine in and of himself. You could also just move him to a battlefield that you know you're going to control, get some kills on another battlefield, get a bunch of gold, and then potentially look to flicker him back up and then put him hidden, and then you're fine. There's options. There's opportunity. I still don't think he's like game-breaking, oh my god, but it's a solid 3-drop. He's a 3 for 3 with a bunch of cool stuff. So, nice. Syndra Transcendent is a champion unit, Syndra from Ionia, which is for 6 and 1 power for a 6 might unit. When I'm in a showdown, your spells have repeat 2 power. So, part of me is like, this is cool. Part of me is like, it's really expensive to get this sort of effect. Part of me is like, yeah, but if I'm playing Ezreal and Vex, it's kind of good. Part of me is like, it's a lot to get to these points, and I'm spending a lot, and I'm basically telegraphing what my opponent, when I go in for a showdown, what exactly I'm expecting to do. I want to like Syndra, but till I realistically see a deck abusing Syndra, I'm just going to give it 2. This is one of those cards where if Syndra is completely controlling the whole metagame, we're in an interesting spot, I won't lie, but realistically, I just don't think we're going to be. So, 2, but it gets 2 because it is 6 for 6 and has a cool ability. Baron Nashor. This is another Aurora card, first and foremost, but Baron Nashor is a unit from the Void, which also reads for 10 and 3 power for a 12 might unit. As you play me, add a Baron Pit battlefield token to the board. It is, if it is not already there, if I do, enter there. So, if you play multiple Barons, they go straight there. If you don't, if this is the first one, you just play a Baron token board. Now, it also reads, I can't be chosen by enemy spells and abilities, and other friendly units at Baron's location get +2 might. So, Baron's a weird one. In theory, he's very powerful, but at the same time, he's not overpowerful to the point where it doesn't feel like he's taking over a game. He's very late and does introduce some interesting hold rules, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, eh? Is it actually worth me doing anything for it? Like, do I actually want to see this? Or are aggro decks just going to probably just not play around it and don't care? Because personally, that's my main concern. Baron's cool, it's very flashy, and the new artwork is pretty cool. But is it enough for me to go, oh my god, I have to play this? Like Elder Dragon? Not particularly. I'm gonna give him 4. He's far more fun in multiplayer. In one-on-one constructed, which is how we're grading all these, it's like a 4. Is it better than Mind Splitter? Jury's kind of out on that. Is it better than Dead Bloom Predator? Maybe, but also Dead Bloom Predator can be played, whereas Baron is pretty expensive to play. So I'm gonna give him 4. It's an interesting one, and it's fine in Aurora, but outside of that, he's only okay. Cursed Sarcophagus is a gear for 4 and 1 power. When you play this, banish all units from your trash, which then reads, exhaust, player unit, banish this. You must pay its cost. I'm going to rip off the band-aid. This is a cool card. It is a combo build-around card, / late-game mid-range beating control card, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I might be wrong. This might be the funny clip that gets brought out. But at this moment in time, I don't see a single reason to go for Cursed Sarcophagus. Now, it's still playable. Like, you can have fun. Like, and this is one of these fun build-around cards that people will play, and they'll discard a bunch of stuff, and they'll play Cursed Sarcophagus, and they'll be like, see, I can now play all these things again. But at this moment in time, I have no interest in playing Cursed Sarcophagus. It doesn't discount anything. It just lets you replay things or get things that are in your discard to do it again. But again, it's only units. It's not all cards. If I could potentially do this with all cards, now I'm back on board again. It's also not reaction or action speed. So again, it goes, actually, it's less good because I can't at least like let my opponent play some things and I can do Cursed Sarcophagus. It's like cool, but it's not necessarily good. And that's where I sit with it. Diana, no longer human, is a champion unit, Diana from Mount Targon. For 4 and 1 power for 3 might, which reads ambush, and also reads, when you play a spell, give me +2 this turn. Diana's good, and it feels so good. Oh man. God. She cannot turn back and I don't want her to. Man, this is just doing so many things. This is going to allow the Diana decks to pop off. By the way, you play Diana decks mid-range aggro. This is your top end. This is your top end, and she is such a good top end piece. You don't have to do too much to have her be a 5, even a 7 might unit by playing like 1 to 2 very cheap spells. There's so many ways that you can just flicker things in and out and make it very difficult for opponents. It's Ravenbloom Student on like a lot more. Diana is crazy, potentially better in Aurelia, but also just very good in Diana decks themselves. She's here and she's going to be insane. Play Diana. I don't have to say more. Just play her. Just play her! Vex. Apathetic is a champion unit. Vex from the Shadow Isles and is a Yordle, which is a 4 energy for a 4 might unit. Which also reads, when an opponent plays a unit while I'm at a battlefield, stun it. It also reads, they can't move it this turn. If X is going to be a good deck, it's because this card is insane. Can't ambush against her. You also can't do anything to really mess with her strategy. You will play this. You will play a lot of other cards, which now turn around and go, actually, Vex says no. Dude, these Vex decks are going to be crazy. Like, the more support, I was like, oh, Vex looks so whatever as a champion unit. And we'll get into our legend, right? But the more you look at it, you're like, oh god, Vex decks are going to draw a bunch of cards just by default. This is one of those cards which will just be there. It stops Accelerate. It stops people from also doing Darius shenanigans. There is just so much the Vex decks don't have to worry about now that they just go, cool. This card's insane. This card's insane. This card will... The format might be warped by Vex. So... have fun! Our first yellow card is going to be Bandle Soldier. Bandle Soldier is a unit from Bandle City, and he's a Yodel. For 4 energy and 1 power, he's a 5 might unit, which also has the ability, at level 3, I enter in ready. Ultimately, this is one of those very weird cards. It's really good and limited. Like, in your pre-release, you should play this. Like, this is actually, like, a very straightforward card. If you have any form of XP generation, he good. Do you want to play him in Poppy? Not really. Where else are you going to play him? Probably nowhere. So what does that mean? It is an above-rate card, but it's also probably not better than most things we've already had in Origins and Spirit Forge. So then it becomes one of those things where you look at it and go, it's fine, it's fine. If there is a way, and I've not worked it out, to always have 3 XP on turn 1, somehow in Poppy? Or like going into turn 2, so you like conquered on turn 1 and hurled? I've not seen any way you could do that. As such, I can't give Bandle Soldier because then he's basically a turn 3 card, and that's when you want to play 6 or 7 costed stuff. Assuming you haven't paid any power before. So I look at that and go, well, I don't want to play this card. It's whatever. He's like not as objectively awful, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Play him in pre-release. Our next card is Black Rose Dignitary. It's a unit from Noxus and is for 3 energy. It's a 2 might unit which has Assault 1. It also has Death Kneel, Channel 1 Rune, Exhausted. So, this is one of those interesting ones. It costs 1 more than the Scout. The Scout being the bird for 1. At the same time, Soaring Scout leveled up, but it's Assault, so it can attack in. It does cost 3 though. So, on the draw, this is an objectively better Scout. On the play, you can't actually play this till turn 2. But in the right decks, you actually might be okay with that. This is probably one of those cards where in Hook, this is strictly better. So it might be a Rek'Sai card. I'm not fully sure, but I'm not willing to completely discount the Dignitary. As such, I'm actually going to give it 3. I genuinely think this card is like better than a Scout in a lot of situations, especially after the first few turns. You'll see this and be like, oh, I've now got a 3 cost unit where I can play it, and I can probably trade. Maybe trade up, which in turn now means I can use this, do the thing, channel a rune, and now I'm actually in an okay spot. I might be even able to get through a turn break point, like a rune cost point. And now I'm in an even better spot. I might be a little bit coping, but this is like slightly better than I thought this was going to be. Like, this card actually seems decent. So, I'm going to give it 3. Keratin Dredger is a unit Zorn mech for 2 and 1 might, which reads Death Kneel. Play a 1 might bird unit token with deflect to your base. So this is an interesting one. One, it looks like Blitzcrank art. I know it's different, but this is interesting. But it is a mech, but it's not in Rumble. So... It's like Soaring Scout, but it makes another bird. It's just like... It's one might. If it was a two for two, it'd be interesting. As it stands, the only way you're really going to synergize with this is playing like Rumble in Rek'Sai or Darius. At some point, I feel like I'm just walking through hoops. And if I've made it clear, I don't like walking through hoops. I'm giving him a 1 because I just don't think this card's going to see much of any play. Sadly, it's a mech that I just don't understand why it's in these colors. I mean, I do, because we're getting the bird. But if this was something that was like in slightly other areas, it would be better. I just can't in good faith say you should play this card. That includes pre-release, by the way. 3 Crimson Pigeons are a unit from Noxus and a bird. For 3 might, which reads, I have +2 might while attacking with another unit. So it's not quite assault, but if you can find either another one, that's 5, or a random other unit that you're happy to trade off, or at least punch up with, it's not too terrible. Crimson Pigeons are a weird one. It's definitely more for the Ivan decks, but it's a pretty good Ivan card. Is it the best bird that you're going to be playing in that deck? No. Is it the worst one? No. It's fine. It's fine. The pigeons are fine, and for a fine card, we'll give it 2. My chat's also pointed out, thank you, Artsky, Fiora. Because when you attack with something else, it gets mighty, so you can exhaust the Fiora. That makes it better. I am now happy with my 2. I was going with like a fringe 2. Now I'm happy with the 2. Thank you, chat. Remember, if you want to join my Twitch chat, link in the description down below. MaskedSwan on Twitch. Our next card is a spell, Heroic Charge, for 3 energy at action speed. Give a unit +1 might and stun an enemy unit at this location. So this is very much on the idea that you're attacking in and stunning. This is like kind of for Leona, but at the same time, sometimes Leona has so many ways of already stunning, you're kind of adding a way of doing this. Now, what's nice is you can do this offensively and defensively because it doesn't actually specify here, or it also says it has to be at the same location, but otherwise, your unit gets +1 might, and you then stun a friendly, an enemy unit. I'm going to give Heroic Strike a slightly tepid 3. I think the card's still good. I just don't know it's necessarily a card that you want to play in Leona. I've already done some theory crafting, and this has been like the one-of / fringe cut play other cards that are just slightly better. Action speed does make it good. Not having to cycle a rune does make it good. There are a lot of reasons that this card is good. It's just almost there. This might see a little bit more play, personally, in Poppy. But we'll have to remain to be seen. Otherwise, I like this card. Solid. Good card. Good card! Loyal Poro. Loyal Poro is sad Poro, now happy, because he's got some butterfly friends. We're happy for that. No more lonely Poro. Now he is a loyal. Loyal Poro is a Furlyordan Poro for 3 energy and 3 might, which reads, Death Kneel. If I don't die alone, draw a card. It's Rek'Sai. It's not for Rek'Sai. It is for Ivan. I don't think it's better than Lonely Poro, sadly. Yeah, I guess he's okay if you're able to do like kill effects in other locations, like you do it in your base and you're playing a hook strategy. Get a 4 might unit. It's okay. I think this is gonna get me hate. I'm gonna give Loyal Poro. No, 3. I'm only gonna give him a 3. It's not like a great Poro. He's fine. He's a happy boy. But at the same time, it's one of these cards where I look at it and go, Thank God you don't cost power. But at the same time, I need it to do a little bit more. This is like a great card for pre-release. A solid card that will probably see a little bit of play in some yellow decks, like with Rek'Sai, like with Hook decks. But otherwise, I'm kind of like, it's like fine. It's doing what you need it to do. Our next card is Scrutinizing Sergeant, a unit from Demacia, and is an elite. For 6 energy and 6 might, he reads, when you play me, gain 1 XP for each friendly unit. Yes, I'm doing his flavor text, but at the same time, I'm like, this is super interesting, because this only can be played in Poppy that realistically cares about the XP. But if you can get a bunch of tokens and other stuff, it's pretty good. If you can also just play a few value units and then play it, it's pretty good. I don't realistically see a spot where you would play it otherwise, though, because all the other legends, you've got to find, if you do get XP through the Sergeant, like a Victor, for instance, thank you to my Twitch chat, Liv, you need the payoff. Because if you don't have the payoff, you're playing all of this, and then that's like... As it stands, I'm going to give Scrutinizing Sergeant, surprisingly, a 2. If the right strategies pop up for him, he will see play. But realistically, probably not. He's not bad. He is a 6 for 6, so it is rate, but is the effect actually going to pay off? Less so. It is each friendly unit, so it does look at himself, so he's always guaranteeing 1 XP. Hopefully, the hope is you'll get at least 3 to 4 XP, and then that's pretty good. You're at least now cycling him with Poppy and drawing a card. Are we going further than that? Probably not. If we can, then he's just printing. So, we'll give him 2 for now. Shepherd's Heirloom is a gear equipment for 2 energy, which reads, when you play this, gain 1 XP, which also reads, equip, spend 1 XP. So it's a free equip spell. Gear, rather. That also has, give 2 might. So, Shepherd's Heirloom is very interesting. Assuming you have at least some way of making XP, this is one of the first truly, technically, free equipment. Technically. It's not free, but it's free in the sense of you don't have to spend direct power to equip. As such, it's one of those very interesting ones where if this gets certain breakpoints and you're able to play this a few times, you'll be real. You're not going to have to lose runes. You're not going to have to do anything special. Problem is, there's no XP gain, and outside of the one that you play, which you're going to probably use to equip, this is 2 might and nothing else. So, it's fine, but it's 2, gives 2 might, so I'm going to give it a 2. It's not unplayable. This card's very good in draft in sealed deck, but beyond that, I'm kind of like, it's fine. It's totally fine of a card. Soul Harvest is a spell for 2 and 1 power, which reads, kill a unit at a battlefield with 3 or less. So, it's not action speed, it's not reaction speed. You have to do this on your turn, and there are already better ways of doing it. It's a lot of cards already wickedly overclips this, and there's no real reason to play this card unless, like, there are, like, must-kill units at 3 or less might. Now, if there are, that becomes interesting. The problem is, it's at battlefields. It's not anywhere. So that's what the biggest takeaway from this card is. It's a 1. It could be worse, totally. But it's so not good. Now, if it was kill a unit anywhere with 3 or less might, alright, we can talk. It's not. So I can't kill the dragon, so I can't kill the dragony boy, the ramp boy. So as such, if I can't kill the Dragon Soul Sage, which is going to be chilling at their base that whole time, why am I playing this card? So, it's a 1-star. Sad but true. Sad but true. Ultra Soft Poro is a push I want. Anyway, it is a unit from Freljord and is a Poro for 5 and 5, which gives you, for 5 cost, is a 5 might unit, which also reads Exhaust, tap Exhaust to play 2 bird unit tokens with Deflect. Use this ability only when I'm at a battlefield. So, adorable. That massive heart on the deck, even cuter. I don't think this card is good though. I don't think he's good. Oh, I'm sorry, chat. Oh, I'm sorry. He is 5 for 5, so it's rate. But I have to get to a battlefield, so then he's tapped. And now it's like, now he's at the battlefield, it's like, okay, now I need to wait for him to ready. I have to find a way to ready him. So, am I going to use red? It's not great. He does a must kill, because if you don't kill him, he does just tap, and then you mate some, bird units. And I can play them anywhere. I can play into my base. I'm just gonna give him a 2. I'm sorry. I know you will want him to be better, but I just don't think this guy's very good. The only place that I do think he could be at least interesting in, and I will use that word interesting, is Hook. I could see him being good in Hook. I can truthfully say he might be playable in Hook. Otherwise, it's probably just okay. It's probably just okay. And that's one of those real points where I go, yeah, it's fine. I want him to be better, but that's it. Sorry, all. Ultra Soft Poro only gets 2. Divining Shells is a gear for 2, which has Vision, which then also says, action, kill this, give a unit +2 this turn. It's action speed, so it's better. Vision is 0.5 of a card. I don't know where I play this. It's like, it's bad, but it's not like actively like awful. It just doesn't do much. It's slow. Your opponent is aware that the effect is coming, which like doesn't make it good. And unlike the list, you kill this. If this was an effect that just statically always stayed around, it would be way busted even, potentially. But because you kill it, it's like just bad. Yeah, I can't find a way. But you should, by the way, you should still play this in your pre-release. This card's great in pre-release. Enthralling Protector is a 2-cost unit from Ionia, and it's a Fae for 2 might, which reads Hunt, which also reads spend 2 XP to buff me. So this guy in the photo, this is a real photo, by the way. That's him getting a buff. This is what happens when you give your units a buff. Man's looking swole. But is this card good? It's kind of a role player. It's a 2. It's not great. You probably want to play other cards. Orange has already shown us to have way better early drops that actually generate Hunt, and also XP easier. So why would we play this? Also, the buff only buffs him. It's not something you can buff other units with. As such, the Protector, it's just kind of okay. It's okay. He at least is a 2 for 2, which means it's not a terrible early game play. But he very quickly gets outclassed. The tags don't help. It's, you know what? Nah, it's a 1. It's a 1. It's a 1. I'm going to be real. It's a 1. You're not going to play this in a lot of spots. Fine and limited. Beyond that, yeah. Yeah. Our next card is Mage Seeker Investigator, which is a unit from Demacia. which is also is a 4 cost, 4 energy, or 4 might. And reads, opponents must pay power for each unit beyond the first to move multiple units to my battlefield at the same time. So, very, very interesting ability, forcing movement in a very unique way. Problem is, this card just kind of folds to one big boy. Card also folds to just getting it off the battlefield and then doing that. It also forces you realistically to play this to a battlefield where you already have it. Playing this like 4 to your base is kind of bad. But also, if your opponent has a way of just trading into this, killing it, or trading, and then goes in after the fact, they don't have to pay for that. So, interesting effect, fine execution, but it's not great. I'm going to give it a 2. Because ultimately speaking, it does interact and bring in some very unique game states. It just would be more interesting if it was like a gear and you picked a battlefield and now this battlefield has this static effect for your opponent. Or if you could equip it as a gear and it would give this text to a unit you control there. That would be interesting. As it's on, like, sticked onto a unit and that unit is only a 4 might unit, pretty easy to get rid of. So, interesting effect. Probably not going to see much play outside of maybe as a sideboard card. Safety Inspector is a unit from Bandle City and is a Yordle. For 5 and 1 power for 3 might. You also may spend 3 XP as an additional cost to play me. When you play me, each player must kill 1 of their units. If you play my additional cost, you don't kill a unit this way. This is strictly worst card of the week, and I don't need to explain why. This is so much. This is costing you so much to call the week. Why? I understand that we've tacked Cull the Week onto a 3 might unit. We could have just done that and then said only an enemy has to do it. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. The problem is, I have to then spend 3 XP as an additional cost. Nope. Nope. No. No. I'm not doing it. No. Card's bad. And you should feel bad if you play this card. It's only good in limited. Play this in pre-release. Absolutely. Do not play this in constructed. The card is bad. Maybe a one-off in a hook. And the next card is Shadow's Call. Shadow's Call is a spell for 2, which gives a friendly... Choose a friendly unit without temporary. Give it temporary. Draw 2. Card's great. Card's great. It's not going to define and change the game. That's why it's not 5 stars. Card is kind of crack, though. The idea that you are spending only 2 to draw 2, and you're going to play it on a random unit you do not care about. That unit might also be at a battlefield, ideally, and now you stare at your opponent and go, so, I'm going to draw 2, and I don't care about losing this unit. And if you can now hook that unit or gain some other benefit from that unit, oh my god, you are cooking. You can also just trade with this unit. This card is great. This card is so good. It's yellow draw, and it works with how yellow and typically red decks want to work. But yellow decks in general are going to be so happy. I think Victors will play this over like so many other cards. This is just good. This is just a good card. Like, oh my god, this card is great. Stalking Wolf is a Freljordian doggy. Okay, dog. For 4 and 1 power. For 6 might, and has ambush. As an additional cost to play me, kill a bird, a cat, a dog, or a poro of your control. You may play me to its battlefield. This card will low-key kind of probably keep, like, maybe keeping Ivan in a pretty playable state. it's a very good rate for it. You can very quickly, like, get above people and maybe even get some points. Problem is, it doesn't hold you at that forever. So it's good when it's really good, but when it gets kind of whatever, it's... he's whatever. And that's sadly the case with this card. I want it to be really, really, really good, but realistically, it's just kind of okay. But it also does make up. And it is a card that cares about tags, and specifically, it's all the Ivan tags. So, probably worth considering if you're playing Ivan, but Ivan himself might not be a great deck. So, yeah, Stalking Wolf. Solid. Fine card. Good dog. Into another good dog. This is a Starhound from a unit from Mount Targon, and it's also a dog. For 5 and 1 power for a 6 might unit. When you play me, return a bird, a cat, a dog, or a Poro from your trash to your hand. So you see how Stalking Wolf kills one, and then the Starhound pulls it back. Again, I'm going to just give it 3. I don't really know. I think these are going to be the random things that are, like, pretty good in the Ivan deck, but the numbers that you play for all of these are probably going to be very different. Card's interesting. Doesn't get back Ivan himself, though. Kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. But it's fine. It's fine. He's a fine card. Will remain to be seen if he's actually going to help keep the deck alive, but recursion is always a good thing. Undying Loyalty is a spell for 2 and 1 power, which reads, this costs 2 less if you choose bird, cat, dog, or Poro. What it reads is, play a unit with the cost of no more than 2 and no more than 1 power from your trash, ignoring its cost. So, it's a 0 cost card. Like, this card's borderline unplayable. You're spending a card to get something back, but you can't get a nice expensive thing. You can't get a Starhound. This card is just bad. No more than 2. Ugh. Now, I understand, obviously, if you choose something less than 2, that's when you can get Starhound back or Stalking whatever back. The problem is, it's so situational. You have to have the thing exactly you want to do. So you go, oh, okay, I go 2. I can get this back and I can play my Starhound and get this and it's okay. But otherwise, it's like kind of whatever. It's genuinely a whatever card in so many spots. And the spots where it's really good and you work hard for it, how good is it really? Aren't you just doing a cute little trick? Really? Like, really? You're doing a cute thing. It's not gonna gain you the game. It's really not. So, let's be real. This card's borderline unplayable. I would say don't play this card. Play a good card in this spot. Ivan's not going to be good, and this isn't going to make it good. This is just a random filler card. And if you think otherwise, prove me wrong with an Ivan deck. Because there are better spells you could play. Rust. In yellow, in this set, and we've not even gotten to it. So, let's move on. For the same cost, by the way. Our next card is Ash Focused, which is going to be your pre-release card for Unleashed. She reads, as a champion unit, Ash Freljord for 5 and 1 power for a 4 might unit. When you play me, choose an opponent. They reveal their hand, choose a card revealed this way, and banish it. When they hold, return it to their hand. This card's interesting. It's unique. Because of the yellow cards that can play, Ash might actually be able to just do straight up hold and never let you go again. The problem is, Ash is also not going to change the game. There are like some decks where Ash is going to be really good, and some decks where Ash is borderline unplayable. So, yeah. I don't think Ash is particularly exciting. But I also don't think, because I'm not super excited, I'm not going to just be like, oh, well, this is just the greatest thing in the world. It's fine. It's fine. But it's niche. So, that's where I sit with that. Atacon is a unit from Noxus, and it's a demon for 10 and 3 power for a 7 might unit. Which also reads, you may kill a friendly unit as an additional cost to play me. If you do, I cost 1 less for each energy and cost 1 power for each power it costs. It reads ganking, and when I attack, the defender must kill one of their units. So, there's a few cards, like Zhonya's and Guardian Angel, or potentially another card, which we'll talk about later, which potentially combo very well with Atacon, meaning you can kill one of those units, get it back, and then Atacon costs you significantly less. And then as such, Atacon is now around. And if you can even play it through like a hook, which is like kind of Magical Christmas Land, but that's where you really get to do it, Atacon gets to come out for free. If you can also potentially play Atacon with any other interesting effects where you can cheat him out early, this card is insane. Now, I don't think you should ever play 10 and 3, but there's methods to the madness. Atacon is a real card that I'm excited about, and I genuinely think his effect himself having ganking, and when he attacks, defender must kill one of their units here. It makes it so hard for opponents realizing they have to kill Atacon. Like, he is a must-kill card. If people do not deal with him, he will take over the game himself because the sacrifice effect is so oppressive. Like, Elder Dragons cannot stop Atacon. Doesn't matter. You sacrifice your Elder Dragon. Cool. Sacrifice your Baron. Well, yes, because the defender must kill. It doesn't actually target the Baron itself. So Atacon is a real deal card, and I like it a lot. And it might give some yellow decks some genuine power they've been needing. Galio, Indefiable, is a champion unit, Galio from Demacia, for 3 and 1 power. It's a 6 might unit, which reads Deflect, which also reads Tank, and I don't deal combat damage. So, Galio is a very interesting one. The obvious home for Galio is in hook decks, but also it very much puts your opponents into a spot where attempting to hold against you can become very, very difficult. I think this will be a genuinely defining card, but it does sort of rely that yellow decks actually can exist in the format. And I imagine they will be around, but I don't think yellow will be the overall defining color. I'm going to give him 4 stars. Reason being, it's a big boy, has tanks, so it forces opponents to do certain things before they can even do something else, which is going to be very frustrating because even though Galio doesn't deal damage, you'll get a hold with this borderline even if he dies, which then forces your opponent to find a way to get through probably like 8 to 10 might, right? Which at that point that's a lot. And they're only killing something, and yes, you're not killing something on the swing back, but you have a lot of might. You will just be able to win stuff. And if your opponents don't kill everything at your thing, and you are able to still not lose combat, their stuff gets recalled. This is a big card. This is a big deal. Galio will change how people have to play it, and yellow is getting some support, and I love to see it. So, for that, Galio's a 4-star card. Also, low-key, Galio and LeBlanc. Ugh. The LeBlanc Fragmented is a champion unit, LeBlanc from Noxus, and she is a 3 energy for 1 power for a 3 might unit, which reads Assault, which also has Death Knell, draw 1. If it's your beginning phase, draw 2 instead. So The idea is obviously you make copies of this with your LeBlanc ability, you conquer, you go in, and then when inevitably speaking they die, your tokens, you get to draw some cards. Or if it's just hurt, you get to draw some cards. Ultimately speaking, this is a pretty powerful effect and will be played within the obvious LeBlanc decks. Now, how it all works, I'm not 100% sure. And when you're going up against arguably blue LeBlanc, which is crazy, it's a little hard. I still think she's a 4 out of 5 stars card. This is just very powerful of an effect. The assault means it's very interesting with smoke and mirrors and being able to come around with, I believe it's smoke and mirrors, being able to flicker things in and out and around. It can become very difficult for opponents to actually deal with this. And even if they do, you just draw and gain value, which then gives you more resources to then go into your next turn and discard and hold and keep doing it. And you don't stop the party. So, I think LeBlanc, pretty good. Pretty good card. Our next card is Sacrifice. Sacrifice is a spell reaction. As an additional cost to this, kill a friendly mighty unit, which then reads, draw 2 and channel 1. So, I go back and forth with people on if Sacrifice is good or not. I was happy to do that back and forth when I was like, yeah, no, this might be just what we have to do for draw. And then we got Shadow's Call. And then suddenly I go, so we're all just wrong and you should just not play Sacrifice and play Shadow's Call. I know, I get it costs 1 and this does technically ramp you, and this is reaction speed, but Shadow's Call is just an easier card to play on your own turns. I come around and I bounce on and off. I'm going to give it 3. I don't think this card is like crazy broken. This card's obviously good in set and good in Fiora, but I don't think it'll see anywhere near as ubiquity play as well as much as I think, personally, Shadow's Call will. I think Shadow's Call is just a strictly like a more versatile card, which is why I rated that at 4 stars, whereas Sacrifice, you realistically have to work it within the right decks where it's going to work. And in those decks, it's great. Truthfully, Sacrifice is a great card. But when it's a bit like you have to really work for it, or your deck just isn't there for it, Sacrifice isn't good, because you still are losing the unit in question. So, I'm giving it 3. That's where I'm at. I can't wait to be proven wrong with Sacrifice. Card I'm not going to be wrong with, though, is Shard of Undoing is a gear for 6 energy, which reads, the first time a friendly unit dies during your beginning phase, each turn, each opponent must kill one of their units. This is 1. If you could play this in Lilia, this would be a lot more interesting. Thing is, this is a LeBlanc card. No, this costs too much, and then you have to get your ethereal things to be dying, and I just don't see a way this is ever good. Now, the reason I'm not giving it 0 is because it's not completely unplayable. But the reason I'm not going to give it more than that is because I don't think this card's actually good. I think this is kind of a trap card. So don't fall into the trap, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to my words. Shard of Undoing, not worth you playing. Now, if things change in the future, card could be good. At this time, with this meta that we're going into, I don't predict this to be a card worth playing. So, I'm going to give it 1. Tactical Retreat. Tactical Retreat is a spell for 2, which reads Reaction, which also reads, choose a friendly unit. The next time it would die this turn, heal it, exhaust it, recall it instead. I can't believe they printed this. I can't. I'm genuinely shooketh, and I have been shooketh. This is a card that will change how yellow combat works. The fact is, if you are going against a hard kill deck, Tactical Retreat in just yellow, you don't have to be playing green, just yellow, simply turns around and goes, but no, you can pick any friendly unit. The next time it would die, you don't have to do it. So against Color Weak, hilariously, Tactical Retreat, you go, okay, I'm going to pick this unit. And it dies. And I get it back. It just gets recalled. Sick. Card's so good. Card is so good. Reaction speed, no power. Like, oh my god, this is such a powerful card. This is such a we already know how good Guardian Angel is. We already know how good Zhonya's is. And those are face-up cards. Imagine now you just don't have to play it. You can just play it in your hand. Card's insane. Now, you do have to hold it up. Sure, you have to hold up two to do it. But this is so good. So good. So good. Just give it a few tries and watch people get very frustrated. Card's insane. Vi Peacekeeper. Vi Peacekeeper is a champion unit, Vi Piltover, for 5 and 1 power, or 5 might, which reads Ambush, which also reads, when I attack, stun an enemy unit here. It's Yellow Leona on a stick, but with Ambush, without having shield. But she has 1 more cost and 1 more might for that. It's a 4. Vi is crazy and will make Leona into a slightly more playable deck. Will it make Leona absolutely great or goated? No. Am I going to have a lot of fun playing it? Yes. Yes. This is great. This is a good card. This is a card that very much needed to be. The fact that it is a Leona card and not a Vi card, a little funny to me, but I'm happy that we got the support. It gets the rating purely for Leona getting support. Outside of that, card's solid. Great card in Limited. Absolutely busted card for Limited. I like it a lot. Ivan. Friend to all. Is a champion unit, Ivan from Ionia. For 6 and 6 might. As you play me, choose a bird, cat, dog, or poro. I gain that tag. When I conquer or hold, score 1 point if your units have all got the following tags among them. Bird, cat, dog, poro. So if you conquer and if you have a unit of all of these, you get an extra point. Pretty good. And he's going to be one of those, so you only need 3 of the others. So this is kind of Ivan's whole thing. For Ivan to get that, it's a weird one. I'm only going to give it 3. Because even if this is maybe one of the better Ivan cards, I still don't think Ivan's that good. But this is gonna be it. I'm just glad it doesn't cost power. If it did, this card would be genuinely unplayable. Our next card is Poppy, Defender of the Meek. Champion unit Poppy, Demacia Yordle. For 6 and 1 power for a 5 might unit. You may spend 3 XP as an additional cost. Play me. If you do, I cost 3 less. So we could also look at this as a 3 and 1 power for 5. That's pretty good. It also reads Ambush and Tank. So personally, I think this Poppy is slightly better. Simply because you have the option with the XP. It doesn't force you into weird spots. You can very much play this as a unit that you just play as your chosen champion. Because of the tank, Ambush is really nice, but you can also do it as an offensive or defensive unit. The tank is also going to be very difficult for your opponents to sometimes play around because it is 5. I like this Poppy. It is only a 3, but I like this. We like Poppy. She's doing a lot here. Solid. Good card. Not going to warp the meta, but good card. Rift Herald is a unit from the Void. Well, that's his tag at least. Krabby Da is an 8 for 1 power, and it's 7 might. When I move to a battlefield, look at the top 3 cards from your main deck. You may reveal a unit from among them and draw it. Recycle the rest. Death Kneel. Play a unit from your hand to base, ignoring its energy cost. So, Rift Herald has a lot of text. And I think it's fine. It's nowhere near as good as Atakan. It's not as good as like Red Buff or Baron or Elder Dragon. Now, if you can find a way to get Rift Herald, that seems cool. You could also look to have, like, you could do the chain of Galio, and then you Galio into Rift Herald, and then you start really going off. That seems great. You could also then look to have the Death Kneel, and then you get to play an Atakan from your hand for free. So that's pretty good. But you still have to pay the 3 energy. That kind of sucks. But it's an option. Rift Herald is an interesting one. I think it's fine, but yeah, that's where I get. I think it's fine, but and as such, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I think Rift Herald is like interesting and kind of close to being good, like getting that 4th star. The problem is, I feel like you're just jumping through a bunch of hoops, where I'd rather just kind of have Atakan. But I think Rift Herald will see some amount of play. At the time being, it's solid. He's solid. It's a solid card. I don't want to get that twisted. But he's fine. He's fine. The Ruined Nation is a spell. It costs 9 and 3 power and says, kill all units. It also, I will give it the award for the best flavor text in all of Unleashed, and maybe all of Riftbound, which I'll read. No price is too great. No atrocity beyond my reach. For her, I will do anything. Dude, Viego spits bars. I've said this so many times whenever I read this card. It is so good. Now, the card in question, beautiful artwork. Now let's talk about the card. It is this game's Wrath of God. And if you don't know that, that's a famous card from Magic the Gathering, which originally bury all units. This one, just kill all units. It's our version of that. It doesn't banish. Now, if it banished, I'd be kind of about this. As it stands, kill all units. We're going to give it a 3 because this is a control card. We're not going to play this in aggro. If we ever get down to like 6 and 2 power, your aggro deck, your like mid-range decks will start playing this. They will, because then the aggro decks just like fold. So they don't want to do that. But the Ruined Nation is a symmetrical effect. It'll be interesting when we go up to like 10, 11, and it'll be like 3 power, and it's one-sided. But as for now, it gets 3. It's just a very solid card. It's a fun card. But it's not going to warp the game. Or, well, at least I hope it doesn't warp the whole game. It might, and if it does, yikes.